January. Your father drove a bus for the MTA for 31 years. Queens to Midtown. Same route. 4 a.m. starts. He came home smelling like diesel and coffee and sat in the same chair every night and went to bed at 9 because the alarm was set for 3:15. He came to your bonus dinner last January at a restaurant in Midtown he would never have chosen. He looked at the menu the way people look at things that are real but don't apply to them. He ordered the second cheapest entree. You watched him do the math before he ordered. Neither of you said anything about it. He fell asleep in the passenger seat before you hit the Queensboro Bridge on the way home. Your bonus this January is $340,000. 3 years at the desk. Fixed income? Mortgage-backed securities? The instrument everyone on the floor is printing money on, because the housing market only goes one direction and has gone that direction for 6 years straight, and the models say it will keep going. The models are very confident about this. You buy a Patek Philippe, $18,000. You don't need it. You have 3 watches. But the buying feels like proof of something specific, something you've been trying to prove since you were 17, waiting in a Queens bus depot for your father to finish his shift. You wear it to the desk Monday. Your VP clocks it without looking up, gives you the nod. 31st floor, 42 screens between the 8 of you, burned coffee and something electric, the specific smell of money moving at speed. You arrive at 6 a.m. every morning, and you have never felt more certain about anything. March 14th, Friday. Bear Stearns' liquidity pool starts the week at $18.1 billion. By Thursday, it's $2 billion. You know before the news breaks because the numbers on your screen are telling a story that only makes sense if something very large is failing very fast. Kowalski has been on this floor since 1991. Survived the dot-com collapse. LTCM. Everything before and between. At 8:47 a.m., he goes quiet. You have never seen him go quiet during market hours. He stares at his screen for 11 seconds. You count them. Then he picks up the phone and makes calls he doesn't put on speaker. By noon, Fed partners with JP Morgan to rescue Bear Stearns. By 2 p.m., JP Morgan buys it for $2 a share. 52-week high, $133.20. You do the math on your pad. Someone who owned Bear at the high lost 98.5% in under a year. You look at the Patek Philippe. The room is loud in the way. It gets loud when something has happened that everyone needs a strong opinion about immediately to avoid thinking about what it means. Kowalski comes off the phone, doesn't speak. Then, position check. Everyone. Now, you run your numbers. Monday morning, you sit back down at the desk and you tell yourself Bear was special. Over-leveraged, badly managed, different from your desk, different from your instruments. Your models are sound. June. Summer on Wall Street is its own climate. 68 degrees inside, 89 outside. The AC runs like the building has declared independence from the real world. The screens run all day, and nobody talks about what the screens are actually saying, because talking about it makes it more real. The mortgage market is moving wrong. Spreads widening in ways the models don't fully account for, delinquency rates climbing, the securities backed by those loans starting to price in risk they were never built to carry. Small moves, each one explainable on its own. But you've been at this desk long enough to know the difference between noise and a pattern trying to tell you something. Kowalski starts arriving at 5 a.m. His coffee is already half empty when you get in at 6. The look on his face is the look of a man doing math in his head and not arriving at the number he wants. A trader named Reyes, equity desk, 2 years ahead of you, makes everything look effortless. Quietly starts trimming his exposure in July. You notice because you notice everything. One evening at the elevator, you ask him about it. Just rebalancing, he says. To the elevator door, not to you. You go home, open your laptop, pull up your positions. The numbers look the way they always look. Substantial, structured, built on instruments the models say are sound. You think about Reyes. You think about Kowalski at 5 a.m. You think about Bear at $2 a share and the math you did in March. You sit there for 40 minutes. Then you close the laptop. 3 years trusting these models. The models built the desk. The desk built the bonus bought the watch. Pulling back now is what junior people do when they can't handle volatility. You're not junior anymore. You go to bed, you don't rebalance. September 10th, Wednesday. The floor goes upstairs to listen to Lehman's quarterly earnings call. Rushed forward ahead of schedule in a last attempt to convince the market the company will survive. You're not at Lehman. But every desk on every floor is listening, because what happens to Lehman in the next 72 hours determines what happens to all of you. The CFO announces a $3.9 billion quarterly loss. No investor willing to inject fresh capital. The trading floor falls silent. For the first time since March, you hear the word bankruptcy said out loud on your floor. Not by Kowalski, by Park. Youngest analyst, 4 months out of Wharton, been on the floor long enough to read numbers, and not long enough to know you don't say the word out loud. Kowalski looks at him. Park doesn't speak again for the rest of the day. You think Park is wrong. You will think about this later. September 13th, Saturday. Fed emergency meetings at the New York Fed on Liberty Street. Paulson, Geithner, every major bank's leadership in the same room trying to find a buyer for a 158-year-old institution before Asian markets open Monday. You're on the Upper West Side with the financial news on your laptop and the volume low, because Sarah is asleep in the next room. She works in publishing. She doesn't fully understand what's happening, but she understands your face. And your face has been doing something specific for 6 days that she hasn't asked about because she's learned when asking makes it worse. The desk group chat buzzes all weekend. Single words, numbers, fragments. Sunday 4 p.m. Kowalski sends a link. No text. The deal is dead. No Barclays. We're going to file. You read it twice. Put the phone face down on the coffee table. Sarah comes out of the bedroom. Asks if you want tea. You say yes. She makes it and sits on the other end of the couch and doesn't say anything, because she can read the room the same way she reads your face. You hold the mug with both hands. You don't drink it. At 1:45 a.m. Monday, Lehman Brothers files for bankruptcy. You see it on your phone in the dark. 158 years. The Civil War, the Great Depression, 2 World Wars. 1:45 a.m. on a Monday in September. You don't go back to sleep. September 15th, the one train downtown at 5:45 a.m. The car is full of people going to work. You look at their faces, they don't know yet. They've seen something on the news, but they haven't felt it. It hasn't reached their account balance or their mortgage or their job. For most of this car, it's still a Wall Street story. It won't be for long. You come up at Fulton Street into a September morning that looks like every other September morning except for the Lehman employees coming out of 745 7th Avenue carrying cardboard boxes. Some in suits, some in weekend clothes. They came straight from home when the emails started. The image of a banker with a cardboard box will be on every front page tomorrow. Right now, it's just people getting their things out of a building they can't go back to. You sit down at your desk, headset on. The screens are running, and what they're showing is a market that decided overnight that everything it believed was wrong. From somewhere across the floor, not screaming, just saying it, with the flatness of someone reporting a fact they cannot believe is a fact. The market's broken. The market's broken. Kowalski is on the phone. Has been since before you arrived. Doesn't look up for 2 hours. The Dow drops 504 points. Worst single-day fall since September 11th, 2001. You watch it in real time. The number drops, pauses, drops again. Each pause a false bottom, each one followed by more red. Your book loses $4.2 million by end of day. Not your money, the firm's, but your book, your positions, the ones built on models you trusted. The ones you looked at in June at midnight and decided to hold. You think about Reyes. You think about Park. Park was right. He was just early. December. The desk is 6 people now. Reyes left in October. 2 analysts walked in November. You watched them box their things, and you understood that image differently from the inside. Kowalski is still here, arrives first, leaves last. You're still here. The bonus pool is gone. Salary remains, and you know that's fortunate, and you say so when it comes up, because saying it out loud is how you keep believing it. The Patek Philippe has been in your desk drawer since October. Not a decision. One morning you put it on and something felt wrong and you took it off and put it in the drawer. It's been there since. The drawer holds it the way drawers hold things you're not ready to deal with and not ready to throw away. Kowalski came by in November when the floor was empty, stood there a moment, said, "You did good this year." Good compared to what? Good compared to a year in which the models failed and the banks fell, and it found the people on the one train who didn't know what was happening in September. It found their account balances, their mortgages, their jobs. It is not done finding people. You take the one train home on a Friday in December. The woman across the car is reading a newspaper. Unemployment 7.3% and rising. She reads it with the expression of someone reading about weather in a place she's never been. Folds it, looks out the window. You get off at your stop. The apartment is lit. Sarah is at the kitchen table with a glass of wine and her laptop and the specific look of someone who decided to still be there when you got home and has not stopped deciding it every single day since. She looks up, reads your face, pours you a glass without being asked. You sit down. You think about your father doing the math before he ordered, falling asleep before the Queensboro Bridge. You think about what you were proving in January. You're not sure what it was for anymore. The watch is in a drawer. Tomorrow you go back. That's the job.